Paymon who?
Mata Heyday.
Paymon Lata Heyday. Who is he?
Never paid taxes for 30 years. Fought the U.S. tax court and won.
See, I believe our rights come from God, not from government. Hello to my truth and freedom-seeking friends. I am Paymon Mutahide, the president of Freedom Law School, which I created in 1996, and for over 30 years, I have not paid any federal income or payroll taxes openly, and have taught Americans like you to do the same legally and safely. If you have not been to our website, freedomlawschool.org, that's where you want to go first to start educating yourself to be free, income tax free, and drain the Washington, D.C. swamp. Now let's go over the Restore Freedom Plan. Why is it priced the way it is? Some people say, pay money, you should charge this way or that way or other percentages or other minimums. You know, this is not really quite fair or quite right. I'm not sold on your program the way you priced it. So first, let's go review the Restore Freedom Plan a little bit, okay? It is for modern-day founding fathers of America. The privilege of 100% guarantee is available. If this is you, then let's continue on because you have the spirit of America's founding fathers, okay? You can enjoy 100% guarantee when you legally start filing and paying income taxes, as long as you are a member of the Restore Freedom Plan. Freedom Law School will prevent the IRS from levying your money, or Freedom Law School will reimburse you in full, and you will not go to prison either. To give you a little bit more detail, not only you're draining the Washington, D.C. swamp, not giving your money to your enemies that are using it against you, you will not go to tax prison, guaranteed with our petitions and our support, okay? Custom response to the IRS, unlimited consultations, and you can get paid for referring others. I'm going to say, by the way, no percent guarantee and custom responses. That means also any attorneys that are needed. Freedom Law School, we will pay for everything. You pay zero extra as long as you come to Freedom Law School clean and you are not having much of pre-existing stuff you did on your own that, you know, could be problematic. So, with that, let's go into numbers now, how we done it, okay? But before I get to that, the pricing is this. 30% of what you pay to the D.C. swamp is your membership. You get to keep the other 70%. That's what Restore Freedom Plan is about. And the goal is to keep you free while we restore freedom in America as Americans joining hands together, my friends, right? So, we're going to fund freedom lawsuits that need to happen to restore freedom, freedom events that need to take place to restore freedom, freedom news platforms that we can get the news out to American people, and fund freedom political campaigns to have people that represent the American people's interest and the freedom and rights of Americans, like Congressman Ron Paul of Texas. We need over 400 Ron Pauls in Congress protecting the interests of you and your family and your children and grandchildren. So, we're going to have less communism and socialism in America. Hopefully get rid of it. More freedom and prosperity, a healthy America, more families, growing families, more happiness, and a great America once again. Why the 30%? Well, here's the answer you've been looking for. You're going to see right now in front of you this chart, okay? We came up with the chart for single employee, single business owner, married employee, and married business owner as far as how much the person would pay to the Washington, D.C. swamp, to your enemies, through ignorance, through deceiving us to believe that we have to file and pay income tax. Otherwise, we break the law. Remember, everything we do is based on U.S. government's official legal websites. We are sticklers for the law, right? So we do everything right by their own books. So now let's look at this chart to see why the 30% with the 2,000 minimum membership was the right choice to make it fair to you and everybody involved in America. Okay, so here it is. We figured that, look, somebody makes $10,000 a year, okay? They would pay $583 taxes. They're not going to pay us $2,000 minimum. That doesn't make no sense. So he doesn't have to join. He shouldn't join. He should keep all the money for himself, okay? So I'm making $30,000 a year, single employee. He would pay $1,700. He probably wouldn't want to join. He may, but it's going to cost him more, over 100% of what he would pay the IRS if he were to file. Now, with that, of course, he has no risks because we protect him 100%. Any audits, harassment by the IRS will be handled by us. Any attorneys, expenses will be paid by us to defend him. But this person still, he doesn't make that much money. I'm not telling somebody who makes $30,000 a year as a W-2 employee, yeah, you should join us. I think you really ought to consider keeping all of your money 100% yourself, okay? Now, so I'm making $40,000 a year. They would pay the IRS close to $3,000, and the membership is 68% of what they would pay the IRS. For this person, it makes sense. But our goal of 30% is really achieved when someone is single employee making $80,000 a year. Here now, the membership is 30% of what they would have paid the IRS. $10,000 almost is about the same as $3,000 membership is 1/3 $10,000 that would pay the IRS. Even a guy at $70,000 a year, okay, his $2,500 membership would be about 33%, almost a third of what they would pay the IRS. So the 30% is maintained. About 30%. These are rough numbers. We made the membership numbers, folks, round the numbers, okay, to make it easy to understand. For example, here it is for a $2 million person, okay? That person would pay the IRS almost $700,000. The membership is $210,000. So as you notice, the problem is, what I feel bad about is that the low-income person, sometimes they end up paying more than 30% than the rich guys. Once you get past the middle class and up, you're around 30%, 29, 30, 31, 32%, these rates are. And so the problem is that even the poorest person has the same legal rights, due process of law, a right to trial, as a rich person. And whether I'm doing a case that is for someone who IRS claims they owe $10,000 or $10 million, the same legal protections are there, and the steps that we have to do are the same. Now, sure, the guy with $10 million case maybe takes, 10 times more work than the guy the IRS claims owes them only $10,000. But the guy with $10 million makes 1,000 times more money than the guy that makes only $10,000. Okay? But so there's efficiency, unfortunately, for the rich person, okay, to defend them in any kind of an IRS situation, civilly or criminally. Whether the IRS wants money from them or they want to put them in prison, there's minimum amount of work that got to be done. That's why the $2,000 minimum we came up with. Why? Because I want to make sure that I'm there for you with a proper trained help to protect you 100% as I promised you. Okay? So with that $2,000 minimum that we have to put in the system, there's a fairest way I could make it to make sure you get people to 30% as soon as possible. So let's look at some other scenarios. He's a single business owner. This person at $20,000, okay, if they would pay the IRS about $3,200. That would be 60% of the membership of $2,000, as you see here. Okay, add that here, at that $40,000 here. In this, they would pay the IRS about $3,700. The membership is about $2,600. Okay, so the business owners get to that 30% a lot quicker. Why? Because we can help business owners more than we can help employees. See, the employees, we can stop only income taxes. But at this time, most all employers will not stop the Social Security or FICA taxes. They just think they have to do it. We cannot stop them. Unless the employer is one that recognizes that we're right, which is rare, maybe one of our students, and he stops employee withholding of payroll taxes, which is extremely rare. But the small business owner, he's in control. You're independent contractor, salesman, online, you do whatever you do online, or whatever business you got of any sort of independently, not an employee. You are in control of whether you pay the IRS any income tax or self-employment taxes, which are same basically as payroll taxes. So we can help the self-employed person that works for himself even more than employees. So they get to that 30% even quicker than employees. That's why you notice here that at a lower income at $30,000, self-employed single person, he's already at 30%, close to that 30% we want the membership to be. Okay? So again, as you go down, you see that the guy that makes larger amounts, they're all at 30% approximately. At $2 million, the round number we have here, $210,000, is 27%. Okay, probably should make it $220,000. But anyhow, so the numbers are favorable to the people that are making more money. So again, I'm just trying to make it as fair as possible to the low-income people. Because you know what? About 60% of our members are at that $2,000 level. 6 out of 10. And I know how much it struggles for some of you to come up with that $2,000. You pay the IRS maybe $2,500 or $3,000. And you're not saving as much as a rich guy. So I want to make it affordable for you low-income people. At the same time, we can fund the freedom works we're doing about the richer people, pay at least 30% to fund the freedom works that we are doing. Without the richer people paying 30%, we'd be doing the wrong thing because the poor people pay more, and at the same time we could not do the fund the freedom works that we need to be doing. So again, you see the same thing going on, folks, with married employee in this example. Married employee, even at $60,000 a year, the $3,500 tax they pay almost, 58% savings by the membership of $2,000. And at $80,000, then they get close to paying only about 30% of what they would have otherwise paid the Washington, D.C. swamp. And again, at the higher numbers, same, you see that they are all at 30%. Here it is. We see it from married business owner. Okay, at $40,000, they would pay the IRS about $6,400. We can save all that and get them at $2,000 a year at about 30% pretty quickly for a person who's self-employed, works for themselves. So by the way, all of you should start looking at somehow start your own business on the side. Anything you do. By the way, do you know Freedom Law School was a part-time side project of mine? Yes, it was. I started educating myself. I was selling medical x-ray film sales and commissions, and I sold a little retail business I got with my partner. I got a little bit every month for 10 months, and I phased myself into be able to make enough to these classes I was teaching in law and Constitution, which became eventually Freedom Law School. So I encourage all of you to look at anything you can do on the side You make extra income, your passion, your interest, and someday you may end up doing it full time and make a lot more money than what you make as an employee, and be able to also give zero to the swamp, because not just you save on income tax, but also on your payroll or self-employment taxes that you would have done. Okay. Now here's, again, on our website, you see some more examples. Here's a married person with 4 dependents making $100,000. Employment and net business profits of $40,000. Maybe the husband makes maybe $100,000, the wife makes $40,000 on a part-time job, perhaps. You see this example on our website. The membership is $3,000. Why? Because it would otherwise pay the swamp, the IRS, $10,500. You see near the bottom. But we saved them $7,500. That's what you get to keep. Well, you get to be protected 100%. And your membership is only $3,000. Here's another example of a single person with the same situation, same amount of income, $450 for the employment income, and $130 for net business profits. In this case, this person would have otherwise paid the DC Swamp $176,000. They save $123,000, and the membership is only $53,000. Over $100,000 savings for this person. Here's another example. Person making $5 million in employment income and business profits of $500,000. In this example, well, the person would have otherwise paid almost $2 million to the IRS and saves $1.4 million, but that's approximately. The membership is about $600,000, and with all the guarantees that we provide them. So this is the fairest way, folks, I would come up with to make sure that everybody can afford it, most everybody, and then we have enough money to fund the freedom movement and be fair to the poor and rich as much as possible. Folks, if you're low income, okay, and your membership costs more than what you save the IRS, do it on your own. Listen, you need your money to live, to survive, to feed yourself and your family, okay? You ought to keep 100%. And let me tell you something. Remember, the IRS is leaving non-filers alone. And naturally, the less you make, the less likely to come after you anyways. So don't worry, you'll be fine on your own. But if you are a patriotic person, if you care about America, and you want to be involved in Restore Freedom in America, say, pay money, I don't care. I might be saving only $200. I don't want to give these criminals any of my money. I want to be like these founding fathers of America. They gave us this great revolution for freedom. I want to be like them. I'd rather pay you in the freedom movement to restore freedom rather than give these guys any money that I make. I want them to have none of my money. And I want to support my enemies. That's wrong. That's ethically, morally wrong. I don't want to give them nothing. And I'd rather give maybe extra contribution to the cause. Even though my income tax might be actually, what I would pay the IRS would be less than my membership, I want to support the cause. I believe in the cause because we're doing the right thing. We are restoring freedom in America in a real, effective, powerful way. And I want to get paid. Yes, you get paid, folks, for telling your family members, friends, co-workers about us. The first year membership is yours to keep, folks. Half of that. I had a guy refer a friend whose membership was $140,000. Guess what? The member who saved a lot more saved, over $300,000, about $400,000 actually. He said, "That's great, my friend." Of the $140,000, he gets 70 of it for opening his mouth and educating me and helping me to be free. So for those of you low income, membership provides the opportunity to not be low income. Tell everybody you know. Go in front of the supermarkets and pass them our Restore Freedom brochures, okay? Make sure you put out down here your name and phone number or the anonymous 6-digit number we give you, Okay? So when they call and they join, we keep track of that, and we gladly pay you and thank you for going out there and telling other Americans about hope, about freedom, something positive and exciting they can be a part of, like you. Folks, you are the most loving, great people in America, folks. Yes, I know you are a truth, freedom-loving person that love everybody just like I do, and you want to help them. So go out there if you're low income and get yourself out like I did. I was poor in my 20s. I struggled out to budget at lentils every week. You know, I cut corners, everything, and every way I could, I barely survived. And by the time I was married at age 38, I had only $500 of life savings accumulated at that time. Yes, because it's time for me to get going. But here, you have an opportunity to make a lot more and have your life go fantastic for you if you choose. So here it is, folks. Join Restore Freedom Plan and start saving yourself tons of money. Stop feeding the swamp. Feed your family. Yourself, take care of yourself. And tell others about us. And together, we can bring hundreds of billions back to the freedom movement so that you, your children, and your grandchildren, and mine, all of us, can live in a free country once again like America was meant to be. freedomlawschool.org. Educate yourself and tell others. With love, I will hope to join hands with you very soon through you joining the Restore Freedom Plan.